India, very, very tough. Very, very tough. Prime Minister just left. He's a great friend of mine, but I said, you're a friend of mine, but...
Amid US President Donald Trump's tariff announcements, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister N. Chandrababu Naidu has written to the centre seeking help for the state's fish farming products. Naidu has requested that the central government, of which his party TDP is an ally, ensure that products like shrimp are exempt from additional duty. But why has Naidu taken this step? Well, Andhra Pradesh is a major exporter of shrimp and fish to the US. Aqua farmers and shrimp and fish exporters operate with 5 to 6% profit margins, according to officials. The Trump administration has announced a 27% tariff on aqua exports from India, which will come into effect this week, apart from a 5.77% countervailing duty and a 1.38% anti-dumping duty imposed by the US Department of Commerce. This will drastically increase the cost of exports. On the other hand, countries that compete with India, especially Ecuador, face less tariffs, with the US imposing only 10% tariff on South American country. This will harm the interests of Indian aqua farmers. Now, let's understand how will tariffs impact the aquaculture industries. To compensate for the new tariffs, aqua products exporters will have to increase prices. This will make shrimp and fish from India more expensive compared with countries like Ecuador, Vietnam and Taiwan. And then if exports dip, Indian farmers will have to curtail production. More than 5 lakh aqua farmers operate in Andhra Pradesh, a majority of them in erstwhile undivided East and West Godavari districts. These farmers and their families will bear the brunt if the state is forced to curtail production. Prices of shrimp and fish will drastically come down, affecting the profit margins of the farmers. Not only this, but jobs in allied industries like cold storage, fish processing and packaging will also be impacted. Now let's try to understand how big is the aqua industry in Andhra Pradesh. Well, Andhra Pradesh leads the country in aqua production. In 2023-24, it contributed 0.94 million tons, that is 76% shrimp and 24% fish, to the national 1.84 million tons output. Aquaculture took off in the state in the last 2 decades with ample support and subsidies from governments. After the state was divided in June 2014, both TDP and YSRCP governments encouraged the industry. Thanks to this, thousands of agriculture farmers in the Godavari and Krishna region and Nellore converted lands into aqua farms, that is ponds, farming mainly various varieties of shrimp. The aquaculture has created ancillary industries like cold storages, processing centers and packaging centers, providing jobs to thousands. Now let's come to what is the size of Andhra's seafood exports. Well, according to the central government's Marine Products Export Development Authority, Andhra Pradesh exported 3,47,927 tons of seafood worth $2.369 billion in 2023-24. As per the Union Ministry of Commerce and Industry, during the financial year 2023-24, India exported an all-time high of 17,81,602 million tons of seafood worth $7.38 billion, that is 60,523 crores. Of this, frozen shrimp alone accounted for 92%, much of which came from Andhra Pradesh. The Naidu government has identified the aqua sector as one of the growing engines for achieving double-digit inclusive growth. Last month, addressing the 3-day Aqua Tech 2.0 conclave, Chief Minister Naidu had said that Andhra had about 4 lakh acres under aquaculture, and this should reach 10 lakh acres by 2029-30. The contribution of the fisheries sector to the state GSDP is about 8%. Last week, TDP MP L. Sri Krishna Devaralayu said in Parliament that around 11% of AP's GDP comes from seafood and aqua exports, and about 8 lakh farmers are dependent on aquaculture directly and indirectly. The state earns 3.5 billion from seafood exports per year, but now Ecuador would be a major competitor to India. Now let's talk about numbers. How big is shrimp's share in India's seafood exports? The USA and China are major importers of India's seafood. Of the $7.38 billion seafood export in the financial year 2023-24, frozen shrimp, which earned rupees 40,013.54 crore, retained its position as the top 10 item in the export basket, accounting for a 40.19% share in quantity and 66.12% of the total dollar earnings. The export of frozen shrimps during 23-24 was pegged at 7,16,004 million tons. The USA, the largest market, imported 2,97,571 million tons, followed by China, the European Union, Southeast Asia, Japan, and the Middle East. Black tiger, shrimp, scampi, frozen squid, surimi, surimi analogues, and frozen cuttlefish are mainly exported. Frozen fish, the second largest exported item, fetched 5,509.69 crore, accounting for 21.42% in quantity. For more such stories, keep watching the Indian Express.